Hello, welcome back. So a lot of you people now, and the views on my videos are just all over the place. Some views are like 400, some are 600, and then that last video, a couple of videos ago, 152,000. So if you've joined me through that, I want to say thank you. You might have joined me because of the briquettes here, and as you can see, they're drying out. The two that I did on that last video, let me just show you. They were done about 3 weeks ago, and look, they did have some mould, but it dries off really quick. It dries really quick. It doesn't add up to much. It just goes away, and people were really worried about it. And because this isn't a damp environment, something going on there, I think that's a bit of fluff. It's a dry environment. It's a very dry environment because I do woodworking in here. I make wooden things, so I don't want a damp environment. Anyhow, that's that. What I'm going to show you in this video is I've repaired one of these. This is a bed. I'm going to show you a clip of the bed in a second, and one of these was broken there, and from here now I can't tell which one it was. I think it was this one. Anyhow, this video isn't a how-to, it's a how-I. And a lot of my videos will be how I've approached something, because with woodworking there's a number of different ways that you can do things, and I want to show you how I do it. So I'm hoping I get this improves my subscribers. Thank you, subscribers. And the comments, I need a lot in the comments, because the comments make such a difference. And I think the reason that video blew up was because of some WhatsApp sharing. So if you're a frequent WhatsApp sharing person, do it some more, because that made such a difference. That was great. Right, let me show you what this looked like before I fixed it, and then you'll see how I fix it. There are a couple of bits at the end. I'll show alternative ways of repairing it at the end. So if you think, oh yeah, but you've got a workshop and this, have a look at the end, because it's all together, and I'm not trying to get you to watch right at the end. That's how it was. It was all glued together and cramped with all of this, with some of these, but you haven't got some of those. I know that. So I've put alternative methods. You'll see that in the end. Anyhow, enjoy. Thanks for watching. Cheers. The bed is from Ikea. It's called Gjöra or Georgia. It's made of birch and it looks great. And if you want to pause on these images, just pause and have a look. Let's have a look, see what's going on. This dowel, that's going to take some digging out. Crikey. Then the other part, yeah, again, that's got to come out. And the thing is with this, it's got these metal fixings, the screw parts that go into that dowel. So I've got to remove those before I can get the dowel out. I'm going to have to dig that dowel out. And then there's this glue joint, this split here. The glue's given in. I've got to somehow open that up and remove the glue to be able to put some new glue in there. I don't really want to break the whole thing apart, so let's see how this goes. I've got to start somewhere, so I thought I'd start by putting some 36 grit sandpaper. This is the stuff with the fabric back. And I'm rubbing this down with on one side, then I'm rotating it 180 degrees so that the sandpaper sands down the inside of the other piece. It's important that both pieces get keyed up, so that's what I'm doing here. And then when I've got it all sanded and I'm happy with it, I can then start thinking about what glue I'm going to use and how I'm going to glue this together. Right, next I'm going to get this dowel out the bottom part of it. This is broken off. And I thought, well, if I put a screw in there, power the screw down a bit, I'll be able to just lift it up. I don't think the glue's holding too well. I don't think it's a fantastic glue. It's a good glue. It's okay, but I'm able to just pull this out a bit. It doesn't really want to come out, so something's holding it. But I've got to have a go. It's got to come out, and it's moving. So this is it. I've left this bit in because I want you to see that it moves in the vise. So it is trying to hold on. It doesn't really want to come out that easy. And look, I'm stacking up pieces of wood so that I don't damage the top of the leg part. The screw has got to go back in again. Bound to come out because I'm putting so much pressure on it, so the screw's bound to try and get out. But yeah, use the pads, protect that top of that leg, that part of that leg, and then give it a good tug. It is stiff. It doesn't want to come out. But have a look at this, you'll see why in a sec. So let's just get this out, move the pads out the way. I think, there you go. Right, and there's the hole, but look in that hole, can you see the metal things in there? They've got an Allen key fitting, so I can get an Allen key to these and take them out. Unfortunately, I couldn't film what I was gluing, so I'm just going to show you quickly what I did. Get yourself some coffee sticks, these are great. And then keep the sticks. I always keep my coffee sticks when I have a coffee, which isn't that often. Get the glue, both sides, and rub it inside the slot. And it's really easy. It pushes the glue around. And you can put a wedge in the end. If you needed to put a wedge in the end of a leg or a piece of wood or whatever it is that's split, put a wedge in there just gently, or get somebody to hold it open, and then you can get plenty of glue on. And that's how I got the glue on. Right, next. So the next day, here we go. It looks like that. And I've got glue everywhere, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much glue than not enough. And I got as far as I could down here to the split. I didn't actually split it all apart. I didn't really want to. Shows that there's a certain amount of stress on this when it was made. And that can be a problem in woodworking. If you make a joint that's stressed and it gets damp, the chances are it's going to come back to bite you. Anyhow, let's get these cramps off. I sometimes use an old chisel for removing glue. Sometimes I use a good one, but this needs sharpening. This is in the next video, because this is pretty bad. Grain direction when you're removing glue with a chisel. You have to be careful. It digs in. There we go. There's an easier way. So this bed is birch and it is a hardwood, and it'll take the cabinet scraper really well. So I'm not taking much wood off, it's mainly just the glue. A little bit of wood's coming off as well, but just to clean the surface up, so it's all pretty good. There's a funny sort of split thing going on there. There's not a knot, but change of direction. Right, light bit of sandpaper, and that's that bit done. I have to tell you that some of this is painful to watch. So, not that I'm in pain, but the fact that trying to get this dowel out. So I've put a screw in, and I'm basically trying to lever the dowel out and hope it comes out the same way the other one came out. This one doesn't really want to play ball. So as you can see, blocks again to protect the edge of the timber, and it's just fiddly because you're trying to get the screw into the right depth, but you're using packers as well, and then it goes well. So you think, oh great, this is good, but that just brought out a bit of timber, so that didn't really help. This dowel is a beech dowel inside the birch upright birch leg. And then this happens. And this is that moment of realisation that, yeah, this isn't going to play ball. I'm going to have to adopt a different tactic. I've edited this 5.5 minute clip down to 30 seconds for you. So if you want to watch it at normal time, then it's 6 speed. So have a look at that if you want to change your settings. Basically, I'm just digging out all of the timber. Removing the glue there, as you can see, because there was lots of excess glue in this pocket, and just working my way in to just try and clear as much as possible. I'm trying to work to the glue line. I don't want to drill this out and be wrong, so it's a case of working from the middle out to the glue line. I had to get the drill out to get rid of a lump of glue that was right at the bottom of this socket, and I'm still working my way, and I'm just getting up to the glue line on some of this. We're still at 6 speed. You don't want to watch all the, well, maybe you do, I don't know. Anyhow, we're nearly there. Right, next bit, card scraper or cabinet scraper, whatever you prefer to call it. I'm removing the glue from this top edge. Look how I'm doing that. I'm removing the glue to allow the new glue to go into this grain. Now people will say end grain doesn't glue, but it does glue, and that's why there's glue still on here. It doesn't just fall away. I've got to get rid of as much glue off here without reducing the height, obviously, of the leg. So I'm just going round with the cabinet scraper, taking off that excess glue, and it's coming off. It's peeling off like wood does. So it's going pretty well. But it's important, so this has to happen to both edges to make sure that the glue penetrates into the end grain of both pieces. So incredibly important. Don't miss this bit out, because this makes all the difference. And here you go, you can see it here. It's worth the effort. It'll make all the difference. Yeah. Oh, and before I forget, comments. Have a look in the comments bit. So if there's a bit that you're not keen on, just read some of the comments and add to the comments, because that makes such a difference, and it's a community. So somebody else might suggest something, another way that maybe I wouldn't do, but it might suit what you've got around you with your shed, workshop, garage space, whatever. So enjoy the comments too, because the comments make a big difference. Let's get on with it. Measuring up to make the dowel. Just under 20 mil. 65. 65 plus 60. So that's 125. I'll make it 122. There you go. 122. So chop that out. Right, I've got to voice over this bit because I messed up the editing, but I'm not a tech guy, I'm a woodworker. Using a bandsaw on this bit, you can use a tenon saw, you could use a draw knife, you could use an axe, you could whittle with a knife if you want to. You just need to create a blank that you can use for this. Mark the centres, it helps. So whether you've got a lathe or whether you're going to chisel it by hand or plane this round or draw knife it round, you need centres, you need to mark it out. So there are my centres marked, and next thing I'm going to do is just to make sure that it all goes into the lathe properly, is I'm going to get my centre punch, and I'm going to centre punch just lightly each end. You don't need to do this if you're doing it whittling it or planing it, but for the lathe I need to make sure it locates exactly. As I said earlier, you might want to make this, if you haven't got a lathe, with draw knife or plane or chisel or whittle a dowel. That would be so cool. What I'm going to do here is I'm tapering this down from the 20 mil to about 21 mil at this end, the near end, to the closer to the camera. The reason for that is because the one dowel fits into the lower part really well, and that's good, but the upper part, because I've done it by hand, I just want it a little bit tighter in there. I just want to make sure it's got it, because I like to dig out a bit. So that's why it's not exactly 20 mil all the way through, or 19.97 all the way through. So yeah, and this is in real time. So makes a change. This is in real time, so you get to see how long it takes. I don't know what happened there, it just sort of stuck. I think on my tool rest there's a little jagged part that is stopping me from smoothly running the tool over the tool rest. I probably need to file that down. Anyhow, this is it, nearly done. For all you sharp-eyed guys, you probably spotted this is an Elu lathe, and I've had it 40 years. And it's not brilliant, but I'm used to it now. So I'm just trimming the end off from the drive centre. I could have put it on the lathe the other way around and turned it, but it would have taken the same amount of time. Now some of you might be wondering why I'm running a channel down here. There's a hydraulic thing that can go on if you've got wet glue all round and you're trying to put it in. It's more than a piston fit, it's hydraulics, and the glue and air won't come out. So you put a channel so that the air can come out and then the glue can follow if needed. So that's what I've just done. And here's my fish. This is my little lever for lifting the top on the glue, because it just doesn't pull off very easily sometimes. So yeah, I've got a little wooden fish that does that in the vise, and now we're doing the glue up. And I'm sort of leaving, doesn't matter if a little bit goes near that channel, but I don't want to fill that channel up. So it's just a good spread of glue. And that's pretty good. Excess bit just inside the hole, and then we tap it in and it goes in really well, right down to the bottom. So that's great. Same again then. Going to run some glue around here, just using that excess. There is like a little well just inside the just by the side of the hole. It's almost like they have made this as an excess area for the glue to pull up. So I'm using that first, just to make sure that I want that to be empty really, so that if there is an excess, that excess can take up the space. I don't want to put too much glue on, don't want to be wasteful. Over the top of the dowel, that suits me. Wiping it all around. Don't forget there's a channel there. And then excess onto that ledge. Now look, when I'm going around this ledge, I'm not actually going all the way around, I'm stopping. So again, that can let some air out if we want a bit of air to come out, if there's a bit too much. And there. That's when I realised. Oh, I don't know which way the top points. I can't glue it together. Ah. Yeah, 4 days later. Here are the parts to put the bed head together, and I need to assemble the bed head in order to get the alignment correctly to glue it together. The customer was clever enough to put some sellotape, could use masking tape or another tape, around the fittings to stop them falling out and anybody losing these fittings. And did you notice they'd put them in plastic bags as well? So yeah, no lost parts, and I can assemble it correctly. So this is great. So I've put this end together. That's the outside back. This is the back of the left side. That one's got an R on it, so that's the right side. So we're against the wall. If you imagine we're against the wall, that's what this looks like. These have to be lined up. So when you're lining these up, that arrow there has to point towards the hole there. So the arrow lines up, and this one, rotate that until the arrow is pointing in the correct direction. So those two are lined up. And now I've got to just take this one and put this one, hang on. So I've just lifted that up there, so that's right. So I've got this one here, this goes in here and on there like so. And then if I give this a little tap and wind these in, he says, oh, it just isn't catching it. Hang on, it's got to work. There you go. So you might have to just give it a tap. Nearly there. These are quite clever. These cams, I think, are brilliant. Let's face it, Ikea don't get too much wrong. Right, let's stand this up. Right, so I've put it in my vise, but you might not be able to do that. So now look, I've got the screws going in the right direction there, so that's good. This is going in the right direction there, and we've done this because at the top of there is like that, and that pole there goes from one side to the other, and that's to get the orientation of the dowel correct on, or that correct on there. So that's what we're doing. So I'm going to put they haven't bought the screws for this, so I don't know what screws to use. So I'll just drop a couple of screws in just so they're located in the hole, and that'll do, and then I can glue this up. To cramp that up, I've got some sash clamps there, and just hidden behind there I've got some of these extension pieces. What's that, LB135? Anyhow, those extensions, they haven't been cleaned up yet, I bought them second hand. And all I've got to do is take the normal head off there, and put it on here, and that's it, and then join this together with a nut and bolt. Oh, there's so much metal here. Right, that'll go there, that'll go there. Wind that up a bit. That should fit. Right, so what I've done is lined this one up with that one, so the bottom of this curve is facing the correct way, and I'm going to drop these screws in the top. Right, let's try and, so what's going on is that is in the way. So I'm just going to knock it back down. The timber split a bit. I'm going to suggest that what's happened is when this was taken apart, it was not taken apart lying on the floor. It was taken apart, and what's happened is that screw, the other end was taken out first, the bar went like that, this screw ripped out that way and did that little split down there as well. So that's what's happened. So I'll put some glue in there in a bit. So I'm just going to pop that screw in the top. There you go, it's fallen into place. So that's just loosely holding that in the correct orientation. So that's good. So now I should be able to lift this out, put glue all over the tenon, drop it back in, tap it in the right place, tap it down a bit, then put the sash clamp on and tighten it up, and that will be forever glued in the correct place. Right, a bit risky, but I've got a pin in there and I've got a pin in here, and I've just moved that from there to there. I'm going to glue this up now and see how we get on. I've put a clear bit of film over here just so that the glue doesn't run out onto the side and try and glue this pole to this side that's got to come off. So there's a little bit of plastic covering that to stop the glue from sticking it. So that should help. Could use sellotape. So I'm wiggling it down so that the top is the correct way. So yeah, wiggle it down. Okay, so that's it, it's done. I had to put the cramp on the end because it was buckling, as you look down this way, it was buckling this and it wasn't squeezing out down here. So by putting this one on the end, that then made that one, the pin, come out there. So I've had to put another sash cramp here all the way down to the bottom to stop this from lifting. Sorry if the camera's making you feel woozy. And I can't put this in a tripod to make it easier for you. Anyhow, that is glued up. And if we look at the joint, we've got glue coming out here, glue coming out there. I'll clear that off in a bit. In fact, I might not, I might leave it there until it's dry. So that's worked really well. There's a tiny gap there, but not much. It's down anyhow and glued, so that's it. I could take it out of there now and actually turn it upside down so that the glue from there can run further. Oh, I'll leave it. It's glued. It's great. In the video now, you're seeing these pieces of wood much darker than they actually look in reality, which is strange, but there you go. Right, that's it, bed done. And look, making sure this is exactly why I've done it. The orientation of these is correct. It's the opposite hand to this. So that's all correct. So I know that when I give it back to the customer, they'll be happy and it won't go together a weird way because I've glued something wrong. Hi, good morning, welcome back. So that's dried off. I want to show you what I've done. Let's turn the camera around, you can see what's going on. So sash cramps have done their job, but what I want to do now is I'm going to take the sash cramp off and I'm going to show you an alternative way of making this, cramping this without sash cramps. So let's show you what I'm going to do. Right, cramps are off. First one is ratchet straps. I won't do it while you're waiting. I don't want to waste your time, but basically I'm going to put ratchet strap over there and tighten it up, and let me show you what it looks like. Right, put it in a tripod, Jamie. I know, I can hear you guys thinking it now. Right, look, the good thing about a ratchet strap is it goes over the timber really quite well, and you don't have to have a pad up there as such. You could put a bit of cloth over so that it doesn't damage. And really all we're trying to do, we're underneath the bottom here where there's a plastic stud thing there. There you go. There you go, there's the plastic stud thing. So we're going underneath all of that, and basically if you haven't got sash cramps, there you go, you could do that. Now what I've done here is once one of these isn't long enough, so I'm going to have to use two, and I've put them about, they don't have to be exactly in the centre, but anyhow there's two there and it's alright. So there you go, that's the second way of doing it, which is ratchet strap. Now I'm going to do a third. And the third method is tourniquet. And if I'd got some rope, I'd probably be doing a better job. But still, you know, it's winding down, it's pulling it up, it's having an effect. I can feel it getting tighter. And that's tighter than you think. That's pretty good. There you go, it wants to. So it's definitely pulling down on it. And I'm having to make more of an attempt to make the piece of wood at an angle because it won't go past horizontal because it doesn't want to stretch out. Anyhow, there you go. There's another method that you can use if you haven't got sash cramps. The ratchet strap's really good if you've got some ratchet straps, or tow rope or something like that works great. But just think about these things and you'll come up with a solution. So there you go, bed sorted. I'm going to strip it down and clean all the parts and make sure it's all, because we know it works because it's gone together. Strip it down, give it a clean, and then I can ring the client and say your bed's finished. So that's great. If you like this video and you've seen a couple of others, please subscribe. It makes such a difference. And if you can like as well, and the comments make such a difference. So yeah, guys, keep the comments coming because they're fantastic. And I ought to say at the beginning, hadn't I? They're fantastic. Thank you.